That's one of the best podcasts ever. Ever. Top 5 dead or alive.
Welcome to Pod Caviar. I'm your host, Tony, in Caviar City. I'm not in the Ministry of Silly Talks this week. Graham and I had a difference of schedule, blah, blah, blah. We talk about this all the time. We have 2 separate shows for this reason, because the times that we aren't able to podcast together, we are perfectly capable of doing our shows separately and still providing a high quality episode, a podcast, like just top notch. Sin?
Yeah.
Today,
What was that?
I don't know what sound that was I just made, but today we're going to continue with season 5 of Pod Caviar, talking about movies.
Right.
Yesterday was Veterans Day, so today we're going to talk about military movies. I have a list that I found on IMDb of 50 military themed movies. I'm going to go down the list. Some of the movies I have seen, some of them I have not seen, some of them I've never even heard of. So I'm going to have a nice conversation with myself about movies, and you're more than welcome to listen to me ramble for about 25, 30 minutes.
It's going to be like an
Sitting
hour.
in the studio right now.
It's like 60 minutes.
It's cold as hell outside, but the heat on is in here.
All right.
I got to make sure I keep this microphone in front of me. Where's the spot at? This is the spot.
All right.
This is the spot. I got to keep my mouth really close to the spot
Just hurry up.
of this microphone.
All right.
Your mind's out the gutter. Anyway, I'm in the studio right now, located in an undisclosed location in Caviar City.
Cool.
It's warm in here.
Speed it up.
I don't like to be cold. All of a sudden, it was colder this morning than it was when I got off of work at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Right.
But
Skip to 10 minutes.
it's relaxing. Got some Christmas music going on in the background,
10 minutes.
and I'm here.
Skip
Snippy,
to 10 minutes.
the dog, he's in the corner. Hopefully nobody comes through the door and he starts barking. But if he does, we're just going to have to take a break until we get him calmed down and everything situated, and then we'll be right back.
It's not needed.
I may even throw in a one of the old commercials that I used to do
I won't.
for fans of Pod Caviar that have been with us since day one.
Shout out.
We've made a lot of changes, positive changes. It was kind of rough there in a second. We did hit the ground running, but we were rough around the edges. But now, everything seems to be working very well.
Damn right. Right.
Let's see. What do we have here?
Hurry up.
Before we get started,
Yeah. Just start.
we got some news and some promoting to do.
Okay.
First of all,
Skip to 10 minutes.
this episode is brought to you by the 1 Gram Army Podcast. If you like Pod Caviar, you're going to like the 1 Gram Army Podcast. If you like 1 Gram Army, you're going to love Pod Caviar.
Right.
If you love them both, then great. If you like them both, great. If you don't like either one of them, that's on you, because we put out great content. And this is another example of it. Okay? So, hit the subscribe button.
By definition.
Hit the follow button.
Yeah.
Hit retweet. Hit
Please.
repost. Hit like.
Yeah.
Share it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
It matters.
Show love. Show
Please.
support.
Always.
Go to shirtcaviar.com.
Immediately.
Buy some shirts.
All of them.
2020 collection is coming.
It's banging.
January 1st.
Banging.
The groundwork
Uh-huh.
has been set for a great year in 2020
Right.
for the Caviar Empire
Let them know.
and 1 Gram Army.
Let them know.
So we don't have no choice but to continue delivering great content so that when we blow up, I say it's going to be next year. When we blow up and we become famous,
Right.
and you see us with our dumb little promo pics of us, like with our backs together with stupid smirks on our face, and we're like using our thumbs pointing to each other like this guy, this guy, this guy. You already know that you can go back and listen to episode 1 of Pod Caviar, episode 1 of 1 Gram Army.
Right.
You can go to the first video of Game Caviar on YouTube.
Right.
You can go look at. You can't even. You go to the Wayback Machine. Go Google Wayback Machine and then go back to Shirt Caviar in 2015 when it first started, and you can immediately see the difference between all of those things I just listed and the changes that we have made, the work that we have done.
Right.
People are starting to notice it.
Yeah. Facts.
We always get
Facts.
good feedback.
Facts.
We also always get haters, which
Fuck
means
'em.
we're doing something right.
Damn right.
And I'll address that at the end of the show after I do my shout outs. But yeah, subscribe to the 1 Gram Army podcast. Subscribe to Pod Caviar.
Right.
Shop Shirt Caviar.
Immediately.
Log on, look around, go shirt yourself.
Yeah.
And
And
now we're ready to get the show started.
about time.
I'm a vet. Graham's a vet.
Right.
Yesterday was Veterans Day. It was our day. And we
Right.
enjoyed ourselves. I'm
Right.
pretty sure Graham did something. I didn't
Right.
really ask him. I mean, we did our post, Veterans Day post. You changed the profile picture to like your old military picture.
Right.
So I did that
Uh-huh.
for a day. It's just
Alright.
me and my old military.
What about the list?
And I don't even recognize myself
Alright.
from back then. So for anybody that knows me since I've been in the military and been out, I look completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Hair's grown out, facial hair, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Most people get out of the military and they gain weight.
Right.
I lost weight.
Whoa.
Not because of just getting out of the military, but I had some
Did what?
shit going on.
Oh.
Shit's passed.
Oh.
Shit got flushed. And
Oh.
now we're good to go.
Ugh.
But one of the greatest things that I've ever done in my life is join the military. I was in the Air Force for 12 years. It's
Right.
pretty awesome. It sent me around the world. It
Right.
trained me. It taught
Uh-huh.
me a lot about life.
Right.
And let's see.
Spit it out.
It's pretty good.
All right.
No, I mean, it's cool being in the military. It's awesome. You're going to have your bad days. What career is always perfect? But there's things that I've learned in the military that I use all the time. There's like subliminal ways of that the military teaches you how to do things.
Right.
I like the idea of maximum efficiency. It
Right.
doesn't always happen.
Uh-huh.
When it does happen, that's cool. I like how we always had a plan to mitigate any sort of issues that came up. Arose. One of those. I don't know. Any problems that came up, we normally had some sort of contingency plan to make it around those issues. And to everybody that has served in the military, thank you for your service and you're welcome. Ha. All right.
Hurry up.
The energy is so low in here, and it seems like it's not going to be a great episode. It is. The energy is kind of off. A, I'm by myself, and B, I'm lounging, bro. This is completely different
10 minutes.
than the Ministry of Silly Talks. Don't take that as hating. The
go to-
Ministry of Silly
go to
Talks
10
is
minutes.
banging. All right, because that whole setup that Graham has did, and the improvements that he made that you may not see. You definitely don't see it on Pod Caviar because I don't have a video component. But when I do the 1 Gram Army podcast with Graham and he does the video, those who have followed him for a while and have been looking at the videos, you'll see that a lot of changes have been made. But this is laid back, man. This is laid back. It's low energy. It's cool. The lights are dimmed.
Skip the 10 minutes.
And
Nobody wants to hear
it's
this shit.
just I'm at the end of
It's
my
a
work
list.
days. Like I
I'm
worked
supposed to be reading the list.
all day, and
I'm not reading the
now
list
it's
right
time
now.
for me to unwind.
I'm still not reading
And
the list.
before I fully unwind,
Still
I have
not.
to half-ass unwind and talk to y'all
I talk about myself instead of
military
doing what I'm supposed to
themed
do.
movies. This is Pod Caviar, season 5, episode 3,
Finally.
and now that I've done rambling for 10 minutes,
Self-aware, bro. I mean, that's self-aware.
we could get started. So I simply went to Google and I typed in like this list of great military movies or something. I don't know. I came across this list on IMDb. This particular individual who may or may not work for IMDb, I don't know. They put together a list of, let's see, 52 titles, and I'm just gonna go down each title. And if I've seen the movie, 52. Cool, I'll talk about it. If not, then I don't know. We'll just keep it moving. Shit, I don't know. I'm not going to sit up here and look up each individual movie I haven't seen. So, number 1, Paths of Glory, came out in 1957. I've never seen this movie, but it is directed by Stanley Kubrick. Damn. And it has Kirk Douglas. Some guy named Adolf, not Hitler, and George McCready, and Ralph Meeker. It says, after refusing an attack on enemy position, a general accuses the soldiers of cowardice and their commanding officer must defend them. Well, that sounds like a thriller and a half. Yeah. And it's directed by Kubrick. So I'm going to say the reason why it's number 1 on this person's list is because it's banging. So when you put Kubrick in the director's chair.
Yeah. And who else?
Not now, because he's passed away.
Of
God
course.
rest his soul. But
R.
I mean,
P.
if you see the director, if you see a movie is directed by Kubrick, then you already know what time it is, man. Kubrick, Eyes Wide Shut. That was the motivation for the Eyes Wide Christ shirt that I have on shirtcaviar.com.
Buy it.
Pretty awesome.
Buy it.
But moving on, number 2, The Dirty Dozen. Heard about this movie, never seen it. During World War II, a rebellious U.S. Army major is assigned a dozen convicted murderers to train and lead them into a mass assassination mission of German officers.
Yeah.
Oh, that actually sounds pretty awesome. Directed by Robert Aldrich, and it has Lee Marvin, Ernest. I'm not reading these people's names, bro. Because I'll be here. This would be a 3-hour podcast. I'm not going through this shit. Number 2 on the list, The Dirty Dozen, came out in 1967. You already heard the description. Moving on. Number 3, The Messenger, came out in 2009. An American soldier struggles with an ethical dilemma when he becomes involved with a widow of a falling officer. Pretty sure this happens more than people like to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's a reality. And I'm glad that somebody took time to put this on screen and talk about it. We in America have a really weird way of not addressing weird shit like this, but it's acknowledged, but it's never really addressed. And you see it all the time right now, especially in like suicide prevention. Suicide in the military I saw it online the other day, and it said that the war that we are not winning, or the war that's not being won, is the war against suicide. So important. And situations like The Messenger, where you have a soldier who is torn in between so many emotions and feelings, and they call it an ethical drama and ethical dilemma, and I agree. I mean, you become involved with a widow of a fallen officer. I mean, that's crazy. I guess they should say widow of a fallen serviceman or fellow serviceman, service member.
Here we go.
I don't know what to call it.
Here we go.
I'm trying to get away from all this he, she, guys, her, people. I don't know. It's weird out there today. But yeah, number 3 on the list, The Messenger. It's another movie that I haven't seen, but I'm interested in seeing it just to see if they went head on, or did they tiptoe around? Did they try to like put the one foot in to test the water and come out? It does have a 77 Metascore and a 7.1 star rating on IMDb. I'm always the person that says, fuck those ratings. Those ratings are all bullshit. And I agree with that, but I will amend what I've said previously to sprinkle salt, base some common sense into it too, because I've watched movies. I'm a DC Comics fan. Anybody who's a DC Comics fan already know. You already know what I'm about to say. Listen, I've seen the DC movies. Yes, they have a lot of issues. The biggest issue that DC movies have is that they're not Marvel. That's not DC's problem. It's that
not have.
Everybody wants a superhero movie to be like Marvel. You're not going to get that. Most of the people who go to the movies, I'm not going to say most, but a lot of people that go to the movies don't know the difference between Marvel and DC. It's a movie. They take their kids to them. They just like to see the movies like that, action hero movies. I like to... Wait, no. Let me not digress.
Too late.
DC movies have historically gotten shitty reviews. Aside from the Nolan Batman movies, I'm talking about after The Dark Knight Rises, this new DC universe, quote unquote, that they came out with, started with Superman Returns, and then it went from there. Responsibility is solely put on WB because they're idiots. They're ran by idiots. They ruined the shit out of a great opportunity to be head to head with Marvel, or neck to neck, or down the stretch, neck to neck, horse racing. Who's gonna get it? Is it Marvel? Is it DC? When that happens, everybody wins. The fans, because you have great movies coming out on both sides. The problem, another problem is that, and what really started me from moving away from Metascores and online ratings is because it's obvious that Disney owns they own like all of Marvel now, all of the assets, and you're not going to give Disney a bad rating for a movie as big as Avengers Infinity War. That movie wasn't even bad, but when you have like... one of those movies, when you have anything that's not Marvel, automatically get shit on. I saw a dude on YouTube that had thousands of subscribers, big ass channel, great, probably got a big check from YouTube every month, and this dude went and shit on Aquaman. If you haven't seen Aquaman is one of the movies that came out last year. Was it last year? Yeah, it came out like last year. And that was when WB really started to, well, Wonder Woman came out before that. But those two movies, to me, are the example of WB and DC really changing the tide, where they're not... they never really tried to be like Marvel, besides having superhero movies. They created their own lane. And... The scores online aren't as Marvel centric now, so you're starting to see them go in a fair. They're more fair now than they were a couple years ago, because like movies like Justice League, it wasn't bad. All the stupid DC fanboys on Reddit like, give us the Snyder cut. We want to see the Snyder cut. And I'm saving that for a different episode. When I do the episode on this shit, I'm going to lose it because I'm tired of hearing about it. Right. But Justice League got bad reviews. Batman versus Superman got horrible reviews because it wasn't Marvel. Right. Like, it was dark. It was gritty. Of course, there was one part of that movie during the fight between Batman versus Superman that got stupid. But aside from that, it was a normal. It was a movie. Like, DC movies are more grounded. And it's not quite how I think it would be if superheroes were real. Like if we walk outside and Superman is flying around and Shazam and all those. But it's not as bright and campy as Marvel movies are. Yeah. So I get it. Joker is a DC movie and it's out now and it's about to eclipse $1 billion profits without being released in China. And that's huge.
What about these military
Aquaman
movies?
was also $1 billion money machine for DC Comics.
Talking about them?
Wonder Woman did well. Shazam did well. You see a lot of these movies that are DC movies, and people are like, "Oh, hey, they're different than Marvel,
right?"
But they're doing their own thing, and I like that.
All right. Well,
and I think I'm gonna like this movie, The Messenger, after I've digressed for the past 5 minutes. I'm gonna check that one out. Number 4 is Schindler's List. Schindler's List I have seen this movie and it is great. It's 8.9, 94 Metascore, 8.9 stars. It came out in 1993. If you haven't seen Schindler's List, please check it out. Trigger warning for those who may or may not understand what this movie is about. But the description is: in German-occupied Poland during World War II, industrialist Oskar Schindler gradually becomes concerned for his Jewish workforce after witnessing their persecution by the Nazis. So it's directed by Steven Spielberg. Liam Neeson is in it, the guy from Taken. For those of you who oddly enough don't know who Liam Neeson is, he's the guy from Taken. You know, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you. That guy. It's a great movie. But if you're Jewish, if you have family members or you know people that went through the Holocaust, and it's just terrible, terrible, horrible things that really happen in real life. And I say that because there's idiots out here who really believe that the Holocaust was fake. I'm not Jewish, but I give love to everybody. And there's certain things that happen in life that I'm like, And people go ape shit over dumb things like the Mandela effect and all this, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But to me, you have every right to say that the Holocaust never happened and you don't believe it. But exercise your right to shut the fuck up, because it literally happened. There's no way somebody's going to fake that much to make Hitler and the German army, in Germany look bad during World War II. They did the job for you.
Boom.
We as a society, as humans,
Boom.
We didn't need a reason to look at Hitler
Nope.
and see what he did during World War II.
Nope.
Aside from the Holocaust, let's say the Holocaust never happened. It did. It 100% did, unfortunately. But let's say it didn't happen. What are we going to be torn? Are we going to be torn in between Hitler and Winston Churchill? I mean, what did you have? You had Hitler. You had, what was the other dude's
Mussolini.
name? Shit, I can't even remember the other dudes. They're losers.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What they did was wrong.
Right.
And that's why they got their ass beat.
Right.
And the Holocaust
Right.
was a big part of human history. You got slavery, you got the Holocaust, you have these things that just happened, 9/11.
Yeah.
The attacks on the British version of 9/11 where they bombed those buses.
Mumbai,
Let's see,
India
you have
too.
the Concorde crash.
Okay.
That's not really attributed to terrorism or war, but
All right.
still, these are
Bring it back
things
around.
that
Full circle.
that have happened throughout the years.
Okay.
The Challenger accident, mishap.
No. Bring it back around.
The
Close.
what was the other one? What was the other space shuttle that broke up in the
Columbia.
It happened on February 1st.
Right.
But you get what I'm saying, Columbia.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying. These events actually happened,
Right.
and people actually died, and you don't get your head out of your ass and stop being so non-conformist, quote unquote, that you're blind to events that really happen.
Boom.
Schindler's List is a great movie.
Yes.
that dives headfirst into the events of World War II,
Right.
and it shows how devastating they are.
Right.
I mean, it really does. Band of Brothers, which may or may not be on this list, is another great depiction of
It's not on the list.
what happened during World War II and the things that soldiers from America, the Easy Company, what they experienced during the war. Check out Schindler's List. Number 5 on this list, Fury, the 2004 action drama with Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf, Michael Pena, directed by David Ayer. Is it Ayer? Ayer? Ayer. Hey,
Ayer.
yeah. So I mean,
I think it's Ayer.
Fury was a great movie. Brad Pitt was the commander of a tank, and his squad mates. I'm an Air Force guy. Like, I know what a tank is, and I know like people are in it driving and shit and loading shells, and it goes boom. But I guess you have like a commander of a tank, and then you have like his tank mates. Oh, they call it tank mates. If you know anything about tanks, if you were in the Army or whatever,
Do you identify as a tank
or the
person?
Marines have
Perhaps?
tanks too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Marines have tanks. Those crazy bastards. Absolutely needed. And happy birthday, Marine Corps. That just passed too.
Number 5.
But Fury is a great movie from start to finish. It has a great soundtrack, great sound. It has like the story is wild, especially near the end. It doesn't really fall off. They have action in the front, and then they go to like they stop in a city, in a town, and take a break, and then they're back at it, and it ends on it. The events leading up to the end of the movie is something that I'll never forget. I'm not about to ruin it for you. It's 2014, but yeah, that's a great movie. I'm surprised it made it all the way up to this person's list at number 5. That's great. Number 6 is Apocalypse Now. So I would not put, and maybe this isn't, I don't know. Oh, well. I don't think this list is in order of pop. I don't know, man. Somebody put this list together, and this is what they said. I don't agree with it being number 5, but it is a great movie, and it definitely needs to be added to this list and your list. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Oh, that was dope.
Moving along. Like I said, number 6 is Apocalypse Now. A U.S. Army officer serving in Vietnam is tasked with assassinating a renegade special forces colonel who sees himself as a god. Apocalypse Now is one of the best movies ever created. All genres, all films, from the beginning to current times. Apocalypse Now is a great movie directed by Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Sheen, Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall. I mean, come on, bruh. 1979 is when it came out, and it's still as good as it was when it came out. You just look at the movie. This movie is, 147 minutes? When they start playing the the Flight of the Bumblebees, the song that they used when they did the attack, when they come through, and you got the helicopters that coming in, you hear the music, people start running, you hear all the guns going off, great action, great movie.
That's the song.
When they start floating down the river looking for a damn what's his face, who went batshit crazy, that got kind of weird, but great movie. Moving right along. Actually, let me check out. Ooh, we're already at 28 minutes. Ooh, shit. I think I'm going to go about 15 minutes. So let's skip ahead. Downfall is number 7, came out in 2004. Downfall is the German movie about Hitler and how he was in a bunker in his final moments. If you've seen a guy dressed like Hitler in a room of straight-faced people yelling, and the subtitles seem like they're talking about something that guy that's dressed like Hitler definitely shouldn't be talking about, is because that scene of the movie is from Downfall, and people have used it it's just in German. So he's speaking in German. The subtitles are in English. You go in there and change the subtitles to whatever. And I've seen many different versions of it, but it's hilarious. Number 8, Rescue Dawn. Have I seen that one? No, I don't think I've seen that. Number 9, Good Morning Vietnam. Robert Williams, God rest his soul, one of the greatest actors ever. One of my favorite actors. He just, if you haven't seen Good Morning Vietnam, watch it. Came out in 1987, and it's an amazing movie. Number 10, A Few Good Men. I wonder if we're at 10 right now, and it's 29 minutes in. So you think we're going to be able to get it? Let's see. We're going to go to, I'm going to read the rest of this list, and then I'm going to give myself 15 minutes, As soon as we hit 30 minutes, we're
go.
right there.
Here we go.
5,
Game time,
4,
baby.
3,
Let's go.
2,
Let's go.
1.
Let's go.
All right, here we go. Number 10, A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Nailed it.
That's what this movie that's what that line came from. This movie, great movie. Number 11, Crimson Tide. Oh my God. When you talk about military movies, you have to add Crimson Tide to the list. Crimson Tide, 1995, a great year for movies. 95 through 97. Really, the whole 90s, not the whole 90s, but like 95, 97, those movies. Because every movie that came out in the 90s wasn't as good as anything. Crimson Tide is, however, a great movie. And Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman, they are the two leading officers of a submarine. There was a message that got cut off, and there was a question of if they should launch their nuclear missiles because we're at war, or should they surface to get a better idea of what's going on. There was a mutiny. There was like a re-mutiny almost. It was a lot of shit that went on in that movie. The damn ship had what happened? It got damaged because that's what happened. It got damaged because they were in some sort of an event happened between them and like a Russian sub or some shit. I don't know. I've seen it a bunch of times. I haven't seen it in a while. It's a great movie. Watch it. Moving on. Number 12, U-571 came out in 2000. Another great movie. U-boats for German submarines. This one is about that's what it is. A German submarine is boarded by disguised American submariners. Damn. Trying to capture their Enigma cipher machine. Amazing movie. John Bon Jovi is in it. And Harvey Keitel, Bill Paxton, and all right, Matthew McConaughey. You put that together. Put that crew together, that cast, and you're going to get a home run. And U-571 is an amazing movie. Number 13, hello, Snippy. Number 13, Three Kings, came out in 1999. This movie is good because it has a great mix of comedy and suspense and drama.
And what else?
And it is the aftermath of the Persian Gulf War.
Okay.
Four soldiers set out to steal gold that was stolen from Kuwait.
They got it.
It's got Ice Cube, George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, Spike Jonze. Amazing movie. That whole scene where the dude takes the damn CD and uses the oil to pour it down the other dude's throat. That was Mark Wahlberg, yeah. Amazing movie. Oh, number 14, Atonement. Wow, this list is actually banging. It's very versatile because when I clicked on this list, I'm thinking like Saving Private Ryan and like Apocalypse Now and the typical movies that we see, Pearl Harbor, which are fine because that's exactly what I was looking for. But I wasn't expecting to see Atonement. Atonement is a great movie, and you know what? A lot of Atonement has to do with the personal struggles between man and woman. There's love, there's jealousy, there's rage, there's lies. There's a lot to unpack in this movie in 123 minutes, but it was done beautifully, and it's one of the movies that I've seen well over 20 times. An amazing movie. Check out Atonement. Number 15, Empire of the Sun. A young English boy struggles to survive under Japanese occupation during World War II. Directed by Steven Spielberg. I haven't seen that movie, but I've heard great things about it. 16, Lebanon. It's about the Lebanon War. Obviously. And we're at 34 minutes. Hacksaw Ridge, great movie. Seen this movie many times. Mel Gibson is the director. Mel Gibson can direct the hell out of a movie. Aside from everything that he's done in his personal life, he went through like a really bad, rough stretch. I think it's okay for Mel Gibson to come out. And he's been in some things here and there, but he's a great director. His movies are crazy. Passion of the Christ. What is that other one about the Mayans? I think it's the Mayans or the Aztecs. Great movie. Hacksaw Ridge is another one. Check that one out. Born on the 4th of July is coming in at 145 minutes. Came out in 1989. It's got Tom Cruise in it. Oliver Stone is the director. It's a biography of Ron Kovac, paralyzed in the Vietnam War and what he went through. Amazing movie. Number 19, another great movie, Flags of Our Fathers. This movie, and then what was the other one? Letters from or Letters to Iwo Jima. Those were great movies, and they're gritty and they're in your face, and they don't shy away from what it was like to be fighting in World War II, because it wasn't like a war. It's not like the war that you're used to seeing now, where you rarely, if ever, see. Most of the time, it's not war. It's called military operations, where we or some other country might like bomb a bridge, or like, this is a no-fly zone. You're in here, so we're going to shoot at you. No, World War II is exactly it was as bad as it sounds. If the whole world is at war, who's safe, right? Flags of Our Fathers is one of the movies that lets you know how intense it was back then. Coming in at number 20, a movie called Lifeboat. Never seen that one. 21, Green Zone. This is a movie about the Green Zone in Iraq. U.S. occupied Iraq during the Iraq War, and then the period that covered a set period right after the major combat operations had ended, I believe. Matt Damon and Greg Kinnear's in it. Came out in 2010. It's a good movie. It's a rental, but it's still a good rental. You won't waste your money watching it. 22, Letters from Iwo Jima is the movie that I just talked about. Also directed by Clint Eastwood. Amazing movie. 23, Full Metal Jacket speaks for itself. Don't have to say anything about that. Another Kubrick movie. 24, Platoon. Great movie about Vietnam. Directed by Oliver Stone. Came out in 1986 with Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, William Dafoe, and Keith David. Listen, again, that cast alone is going to produce. 25, Saving Private Ryan. Came out in 1998. Amazing movie. Steven Spielberg directed. Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, Tom Sizemore, Edward Burns. Great movie. Check that one out if you haven't already. Thin Red Line is coming in at 26. Came out in 1998. It's focused on the conflict at Guadalcanal during the Second World War. Have I seen that movie? I think I've seen it. But yeah. I've seen it, but I can't. I don't remember enough to speak on it. I need to go back and watch it again. 27 is The Imitation Game. That's a movie that I haven't seen yet. It's got Spock in it from the new Star Trek. Benedict Cumberbatch is his name. For those of you who's like, that's not his name, that's who he played. Okay, yeah, great. I'm a Trekkie, so he's Spock to me until otherwise. He did. Yeah, no, that is the guy that plays Spock.
Yeah, that's him. That's
28, Black Hawk Down, the go-to movie to watch while you're deployed in the Air Force in Southwest Asia, waiting for planes. Okay, Black Hawk Down. Everybody knows the story about Black Hawk Down. If you haven't, Google it. Watch the movie. It's a great movie. I've just seen it a 1,000 times, and I'm not shitting you about that number. 1,000 times. It's 1,000 times I've seen the movie, and I want everybody to go check that one out, as this music is getting loud for no reason. Oh, I see why. Okay, fix that. 29, Dunkirk. That movie came out a couple years ago, directed by Christopher Nolan. This Dunkirk and Atonement are connected because Atonement has a scene that is in Dunkirk. Basically, a bunch of soldiers were pushed to Dunkirk, which is, what is that? It's a small town in France. The Germans were closing in on everybody that was trapped at Dunkirk, and what happened was because of the great leadership of Winston Churchill, they managed to commandeer a bunch of civilian boats. The boats floated out there and got all the soldiers off of the island. I would watch Atonement first and then Dunkirk. Dunkirk, like I said, Atonement has a scene that happens in Dunkirk. Dunkirk is a movie that will infinitely expand on that scene. They're connected. Watch them both back to back, and that's a good movie night to me. 30 is The English Patient. What time do we have now? Oh, we got 5 minutes left. 31, Eye in the Sky. I don't know about that one. 32, American Sniper. That's the movie about the Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle. Zero Dark 30 came on 2012. What is that? A Chronicle of the Decade-Long Hunt for Al-Qaeda terrorist leader Osama bin Laden. Zero Dark 30 is something that I learned about in the military, and that's just early as fuck in the morning. Usually, you have to be on base, in place, at Zero Dark 30, and you immediately transition to what we call hurry up and wait, which means you got to get there really quick. And once you get there, you're waiting around for a little while because, like I said, it's set up to be efficient, but when efficiency fails, you got to have your contingency plans, which delays shit, and you get used to it. 34, Hurt Locker, great movie. The Hawkeye's in it. 35 is Tropic Thunder. Listen, if you haven't heard a quotable from Tropic Thunder, then get out of that bubble that you're living in and go check it out, because that is a great movie. It is hilarious. Robert Downey Jr., that fucking Iron Man, does blackface in that movie, and he does it in a way that's not racist. He doesn't do normal white people on Halloween for hook blackface. No, this is him. What do you say? He's talking to the man that's dressed like a man, like another man playing another man or some shit. But anyway, it's a great movie. Tom Cruise does an amazing job in that movie too. 36 is Youth. Haven't seen that. 37 Stripes. That's a great movie. I've seen that. 38 Inglourious Bastards. Amazing movie. 39 War Horse. Nah, I haven't seen that one. 40 We Were Soldiers. Great movie.
Yes.
Great soundtrack.
Yes.
I'm really big on having soundtracks that match a movie and do it well, and this is a great example of that. We Were Soldiers. Another great example is Gladiator,
Right.
or Interstellar.
Yes.
If you want some sort of examples of what I mean when I say the soundtrack goes great with the movie.
All right.
41 Edge of Tomorrow. It's an interesting movie. This isn't historical per se, but it's a Tom Cruise movie. Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. Tom Cruise is like some futuristic soldier, and they have exosuits. Think Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. He gets the power to repeat time, but if he dies, he repeats the same day. The tagline of this movie was Live, Die, Repeat. Allegedly, the studio hated the title Edge of Tomorrow, so they tried to push that Live, Die, Repeat shit, and they tried to do it in a way
Stupidly.
to not
They did it
rename the
stupidly.
movie, but like change the identity of it,
Yeah,
kind
it's
of.
stupid.
Like,
It was a dumb
like
idea.
I'm Tony, but if I tell you that my name is Philip, I'm still Tony, but I appear to be Philip. To me, Live, Die, Repeat is a dumb title for a movie. It sounds
Facts.
stupid. Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
When I heard Edge of Tomorrow, before even seeing a trailer, I was like, okay,
That's actually
sounds
true.
interesting. But
That's true.
moving on, 42, Tora. Haven't seen that. Number 43 is Valkyrie. It's another Tom Cruise movie where he plays as a Nazi soldier that has agreed to try to assassinate Hitler. The thing about Tom Cruise is that he's Tom Cruise, but Tom Cruise and Nick Cage, they pretty much play the same character in every movie. Tom Cruise has a wider selection of characters and a deeper. Just look at Tropic Thunder, like I said. But he didn't do a German accent for the movie. So it's almost like an American spy is dressed as a Nazi soldier to assassinate Hitler. It's still a good movie. I liked it. 44, Enemy at the Gates. Great movie. Russian and German sniper play a game of cat and mouse during the Battle of Stalingrad. Came out in 2001. I've seen that movie a lot of times. 13 Hours. This is the story of... Oh, this is about the attack on a U.S. compound in Libya. A security team struggles to make sense out of the chaos. Oof. Lone Survivor. Another great movie. Mark Wahlberg, he's really good at these movies, man. He did Patriots Day, Lone Survivor. What's that movie, like 16 Blocks or some movie that came out last year? Great movie, man. Number 47, Jarhead. This movie, what is it? This came out in 2005. Jake Gyllenhaal, Jamie Foxx, Lucas Black, Sam McDonald. This is a psychological study of operations, Desert Shield, and Desert Storm during the Gulf War. But it starts off with Jake Gyllenhaal going to basic training for the Marines, and then he gets trained to be a sniper, and it goes on from there. The ending is fucked up, but being in the military for over a decade, I've had plenty days just like that. The amount of fucked upness, not that situation, but 48 is The Men Who Stare at Goats, which is a weird movie. I saw it once. It's about like some sort of weird, I don't know, supposed experiment about mind control or some shit. A unit that employs paranormal powers in their mission. So, you know, that right there, you understand. Overlord 2018, a small group of American soldiers find horror behind enemy lines on the eve of D-Day. This was supposed to be part of the Cloverfield universe. I'm not sure whether it still is or whether they scrapped that or not, but I haven't seen this movie. I kind of forgot about it, actually. I need to go check it out, but I don't know. When I check it out, I'll probably talk about it during this season. 50, Unbroken, never seen that. 51, The Railway Man, haven't seen that. Number 52, Last and Final, which I was trying to just say. Jeez. In 1943, a crew of B-17 based in UK prepares for its 25th and last bombing mission over Germany before returning home to the USA. And with that, this is a great movie of military-themed movies that I found on IMDb. If you go in Google and type in best military movies, the first link that comes up is the link that I used for this episode. And with that, 2 minutes over, 47 minutes, still isn't bad. Great episode. Let's see, we got some shout outs here. Let's do some shout outs real quick. Rose Baby, Red OG, Goose, what up? And as always, the Gram and the 1 Gram Army. And last and definitely least, the haters. Listen, you get behind a keyboard, you would think that, I don't know, you just get to talk reckless. Yeah, like, come on, man. Yeah. Understand who you're dealing with here.
Word up.
Because I'm not about to back down because you say something to me on Facebook. Most of the time I ignore it. But if I have time, guess what? I'm going to use it to drag your ass. Because I don't have time for this. Except those days when I do have time for it. But as always,
you got it.
On behalf of everybody in Caviar City, especially inside the Caviar City studio.
All right, listen up.
It's just Snippy and me, and he's asleep. Okay. But thank you for listening to this episode of Pod Caviar. Right. Season 5, Episode 3. I went through a nice list of military-themed movies.
Then what?
Yesterday was Veterans Day. Right. And, you know, this is season, what is it, season 5? Did I say Episode 3 or Season 3? This is Episode 3 of Season 5 of Pod Caviar. And one final thing.
Okay.
I podcasted today. And that immediately makes the world a better place.
Boom.
And you're welcome.
Peace.